leads to an arrest, you could earn a cash reward. Victoria Mayor Jeff Bouknight released a proclamation to denounce anti-Semitism in the city. We spoke with a local representative for the Jewish community, Dr. Gary Branfman. He showed the Temple B'nai Israel, established in 1858, and the actual burial site of the first Jewish man in Victoria. Dr. Branfman says the decision to stand against anti-Semitism is bigger than just the Jewish community.
Any racism, bigotry against any group is a target against people, not against that group. Doesn't matter if it's anti-Semitism, anti-black, anti-gay, it's racism.
After battling with his own situations of prejudice, Dr. Branfman sees a bright future for Victoria. The proclamation is the first step. Also, the Jewish community celebrates Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Memorial Day. Mayor Bouknight declared today and tomorrow as Victoria Congregation B'nai Israel Days. The current Temple B'nai Israel was built in 1923. You have another chance to learn about Victoria College's May 6 bond election. Voters will decide a $10 million bond issue to help with a $36.5 million project for a student success center. Victoria College already has $26.5 million in grants, gifts, and institutional funds for the project. The college is hosting its second bond informational session tomorrow at the Campus Student Center at 2200 East Red River Street. Early voting starts April 24th and runs through May 2nd. Here's your viewer poll this afternoon. You can scan the QR code on your screen to vote now. Do you plan to attend the Victoria College Bond Issue Informational Session Tuesday? Yes, no, or maybe. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. We'll have an update on what you and your neighbors are saying on 25 News Now at 6. The Bloomington ISD superintendent announced his retirement today. Mark Anglin has led the Bloomington ISD for 4 years. In a Facebook statement, Anglin says it was a difficult decision to retire from the best job he ever had. Anglin says his retirement from the Bloomington ISD is the best decision for his family. Wishing him well. Let's take a look at your first warn storm team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac?
Hey, James, did you like that weather on Sunday?
I wanted to thank you for it. Thank you so much.
There you go. My pleasure. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy to help. I know that Saturday night we got a little interesting with the thunder, that sort of lightning that came through, but it's very hard to find any rainfall totals. Right now it's 75 degrees. The winds turned around. They're now out of the southeast and they're going to be getting stronger. It's back to one of those weeks with the windy, warm weather and the clouds are rolling back in. We'll have a look at all of that and take a look at your extended outlook coming up in just a few minutes, so stay tuned. James?
Thank you, Mac. Investigators have determined the cause of a large fire at a dairy farm near Dimmitt. It happened last Tuesday. Authorities say a piece of equipment used at the farm is to blame. The fire left one person in critical condition and the fire killed more than 17,000 cattle. It still isn't determined exactly what component of the equipment failed. Identical pieces of gear have caught fire previously at this farm and at another farm. The Texas State Capitol evacuated Sunday after a bomb scare. Austin police received a 911 call from an unknown person who said there was a pipe bomb on Capitol grounds. The DPS cleared the area and searched the area. Explosive canine units were used. Nothing was found and the all clear was given. A tweet from the Austin PD says the DPS's Criminal Investigation Division is now looking into the incident. A body found on Galveston Beach 30 years ago, now identified through genetic testing as an exchange student from Tanzania. Here's more on the investigation.
The man discovered on the beach in May of 2020 is 24-year-old Calvin Mbwambo. Galveston police partnered with a private genetic testing lab called Othram to help figure out his identity. Police know Mbwambo drowned, but they found nothing on the beach that day that would help them identify his body.
It was just a gentleman, water, sand. We didn't know anything.
The only clues on the day the 24-year-old was found included what he was wearing: black swim trunks and size 11 sandals that were strapped to his hands. Detectives believe Calvin may have used those sandals to try to stay afloat in the water. Thanks to genetic testing, we now know Calvin Mbambo was an exchange student from Tanzania. It remains unclear why he was in Galveston and what led up to his drowning.
Supreme Court justices are considering a lower court ruling that would place restrictions on access to an abortion drug. Numerous abortion rights rallies held over the weekend. These protests come days after a Texas judge suspended the FDA's approval of the abortion pill mifepristone. The Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito extended a lower court's hold on the ruling at least until Wednesday night to allow the justices time to fully examine the issue. A decision could come this week. A substitute teacher in Mesquite fired, accused of organizing student fights in the classroom. A 13-year-old student shot video of the incident. The student's mother says she fears for her daughter's safety. Administrators say the substitute encouraged fights and outlined rules for the students to follow. The mother says her daughter didn't want to fight and was verbally assaulted for that. She says she's not satisfied with the district's response. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the state legislature there will advance a bill aimed at allowing a state takeover of Disney-controlled land. He previously tried to take over a special tax district that gives Disney control over the land around its Disney World resort. DeSantis assigned his own representatives to the board to take it over from Disney control. However, the outgoing board stripped the district of its powers and gave them directly to Disney. The new bill seeks to nullify that action.
There is a bill that will be put out in the Florida legislature that will make sure that the agreements purported to be entered into by Disney are revoked and the people's will is established and is upheld. And that is something that's very important.
DeSantis claimed the outgoing board's action was improper. The conflict between Disney and DeSantis started when Disney took a position against a Florida law that prohibits sexual orientation and gender identity from being discussed in classrooms. A Kansas City teen released from the hospital after mistakenly going to the wrong house to pick up his brothers. He was shot by the homeowner, who was taken into custody and later released.
The Kansas City community protesting on Sunday after 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was shot as he was trying to pick up his siblings last week. Police say Yarl accidentally went to the wrong address, where he was shot and seriously wounded by the homeowner. Officers arrived at the scene after a neighbor called 911 and took the homeowner immediately into custody.
Our heart goes out to the juvenile victim, and more than anything, to make sure that this child and this child's family knows that there are people working hard, a number of people working hard, to make sure there is justice for this person.
The homeowner, who has not been identified, was released after 24 hours pending further investigation. The police department says they're waiting to obtain a formal statement from the victim and further forensic evidence.
I want everyone to know that I'm listening, and I understand the concern that we are receiving from the community. The information that we have now, it does not say that it's racially motivated. That's still an active investigation. But as a chief of police, I do recognize the racial components of this case. I do recognize and understand the community's concern.
Yarl's aunt says her nephew loves music and is a section leader in his marching band. She says his goal is to attend Texas A&M University to study chemical engineering. Civil rights attorneys Lee Merritt and Benjamin Crump are representing the victim and his family and demanding swift action, and are calling the shooting horrendous and unjustifiable.
As a mother of 3 children, this enrages me.
And protesters gathering Sunday outside the home where Yarl was shot, demanding justice.
He is alive. He is healing. Yes. So I just want to tell you thank you for being here, because my nephew is alive.
The homeowner was released because Missouri state law requires a person either be charged or released after 24 hours. Police say they need to get a formal statement from Jarl and they need to gather more evidence. This Thursday at 6 and 10, catch a 25 News Now Extra with Adam Seibel. We joined ABC News for their extended coverage this week on Earth Day with Climate Crisis, the Power of Water. We'll hear from farmers in Matagorda County and learn more about the impact the Texas-Colorado River and recent droughts have on their crops. That's April 20th on 25 News Now at 10. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Read up on the upcoming deadlines to cast your ballot by mail. The deadline right there in that story under news. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Police in Dadeville, Alabama, searching for the suspect in a fatal shooting at a Sweet 16 birthday party. Also ahead, more than 180 people killed as intense fighting grips the country of Sudan.
Need weather around the clock? When the weather changes in the Crossroads, you need a reliable source. Visit Interactive Radar online for the latest conditions in the Crossroads area. CrossroadsToday.com. Weather at your fingertips.
Join happy Optimum customers who love their fast Optimum 300 meg internet for as low as $30 a month. Paul says it's reliable internet, great speed, reasonable pricing. Thanks, Paul. We think you're great too. Plus, Optimum has faster download speeds than AT&T nationwide. Get Optimum 300 meg internet for $30 a month with Optimum Mobile for as low as $15 a month. For your special offer, call 866-9-OPTIMUM. Go to Optimum.com or visit a store today. Get closer, go farther with Optimum.
You nailed it. Tonight, these Idol finalists put it all on the line.
World-class performance.
For your vote.
Oh my God.
American Idol, new tonight on ABC.
On Saturday, March 18th at 9:40 p.m., officers with the Victoria Police Department responded to a call of shots fired on the 3600 block of East Forest Street. They located a 32-year-old man who had been shot. Witnesses advised that after the shooting, the suspect fled in a dark-colored truck. If you have any information about this assault, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. All tips are anonymous. If you give information that leads to arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward.
Sudanese took shelter in their homes for a third straight day as the army and a powerful rival force fight in the capital and other cities for control of Sudan. The UN envoy to Sudan says more than 185 people were killed and more than 1,800 people were hurt. Airstrikes and shelling intensified Monday in parts of the capital and adjoining city. At least 6 hospitals in the capital were forced to shut down due to the fighting. The clashes are part of a power struggle between the armed forces chief and the leader of a paramilitary force. The latest now on that mass shooting in Alabama. Police are searching for the suspect. 4 people were killed and 28 people were hurt. It happened at a Sweet 16 birthday party, so many of the victims were teens.
The search intensifying for whoever is responsible for unleashing this violence at a Sweet 16 party in a small rural Alabama town Saturday night.
If you or you know somebody that has any information about what occurred last night, I cannot stress this enough, ever how minor you think it is, we absolutely need you to share it.
Officials say 4 people were killed and more than 24 injured when gunfire broke out at a crowded dance hall.
There are no words to describe the emotions that we're all feeling.
One hospital confirming it admitted 15 patients with gunshot wounds, most of them teenagers, 5 in critical condition. Survivor Bree Hutchinson speaking to ABC News from her hospital bed.
I grabbed onto somebody, I don't know who, and I was yelling for help and nobody would help me. So I had to gain my strength and walk outside after being shot.
18-year-old Phil Dowdle was one of those who lost their lives. He was the birthday girl's brother and a star athlete heading to Jacksonville State on a football scholarship.
He had one goal to get to the NFL and take care of his mom.
His mother also shot, according to Dowdle's high school coach.
She was a chaperone in here, so she was hit a couple times in the legs too. It's tough right now for him, real tough.
So far this year has seen more mass shootings than days, according to the Gun Violence Archive. President Biden issuing a statement following this latest shooting, saying in part, "This is outrageous and unacceptable. Our communities need and deserve better." Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
SpaceX called off its first launch of Starship due to a technical issue. SpaceX says a pressurization issue forced it to call off today's inaugural flight after years of testing and conduct a rehearsal launch instead. SpaceX says it could try the launch again in 2 days from South Texas over the Gulf of Mexico. Starship is massive with 33 engines. CEO Elon Musk describes Starship as the vehicle that underpins SpaceX's founding purpose to send humans to Mars for the first time. The National Institutes of Health says at least 500,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The number is likely higher as many people go undiagnosed or are misdiagnosed.
The signs can be subtle at first. Parkinson's disease is a progressive condition that typically isn't diagnosed until physical symptoms appear, like tremors and trouble balancing. But new lab tests may be changing that.
He is a game changer in Parkinson's, no question.
The new tests detect traces of a key protein that abnormally clumps in the brain of a person with Parkinson's disease. One test, SynTap, looks for seeds of the protein in spinal fluid. A large study by the Michael J. Fox Foundation found that overall, the test correctly identified people with Parkinson's disease 88% of the time and correctly ruled it out 96% of the time.
Now, for the first time, we can measure this in life in people with Parkinson's disease, and also perhaps even more importantly, people who may be at risk for Parkinson's disease, but don't yet have the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Dr. Ken Merrick says Parkinson's disease begins in the brain many years before symptoms start.
The real key here is that it offers the opportunity to develop treatments prior to the onset of symptoms, so that we might ultimately be able to prevent the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Grab your cell phone, scan this QR code, our quick response code, to download the Crossroads Today app. Watch us wherever, whenever, get breaking news alerts, and vote in our viewer polls. You can also submit news tips, videos, and photos, and you'll know about our ongoing contests. Mac?
Thank you, James. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it was a beautiful weekend. Now we've got the old Gulf moisture rolling back in with heat and humidity, but it's not going to be all week. We'll have all your 7-day forecasts coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
You want to have purpose, to unlock your full potential. Imagine a career that fits you. With the Pathways at Victoria College, you can take steps towards a high-paying career that fits you and your interests. Or save money by completing courses you need before transferring to a university to earn a bachelor's degree. No matter where you came from or where you are now, Victoria College will take you where you want to be. The world needs you. Are you ready? Victoria College. Enroll today.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $22.50 total cash allowance on a 2023 Silverado with a turbo high output engine. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Keep Victoria Beautiful is having a cleanup for Earth Day. April 22nd, that morning we're going to go clean up all around Victoria. Make this place we call home just a little bit nicer. Last time we had 400 of your friends, neighbors, high school baseball players, teachers, nurses there to help clean up. Go to keepvictoriabeautiful.org to sign up and learn more. Bring a team. It's going to be a great Saturday morning. Look forward to seeing you there.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend. I mean, that Sunday was pretty special, unless you have allergies, because all that cedar probably blew in from Austin, and a lot of people having to deal with that. This afternoon, still looking good. The winds are now turning around. We're picking up a little moisture. Out here in far west Texas, out there in the Midland, Odessa, we've got a couple thunder showers popping up. You'll notice, however, that the storms are going in this direction, and then you'll know that our winds are going in this direction. That creates a shear, a conflict zone, so where some of these may actually blow up into a little bigger thunderstorms. So we're going to be watching that for the next day or so. Of course, over the weekend it was pretty interesting. I want to thank the Lavaca County Emergency Management people, because they took pictures of the hail that occurred in Shiner. This was Saturday night when that line came through. I mean, I don't know if anybody got rain, but we certainly got a little bit of hail. And of course, thank you to Isaac Solis for giving us this picture of the lightning as that thing came through. So it was pretty aggressive, but then it all blew away, and Sunday was pretty spectacular. Want to show you the tropics. Now, it's too early in the season. Don't get excited. Nothing's happening. Here's Florida. Here's the Caribbean. And here's the west coast of Africa. What I wanted you to see is that everything is still moving in that direction, all the way down to this level. So that is not a good time for any kind of storm development, which is okay. I just wanted to tell you that the Atlantic is not ready for anything to develop. In fact, what we need is basically high pressure here and everything flowing in this direction all the way across the equator and into the Caribbean for us to get started. So let's just say that it'll be a week or two before anything will actually change out there. So for us, we've got high pressure on top of us. That's what's giving us the beautiful weather. Of course, we had that northeast wind, but now we're on the backside of it. So it's the southeast wind that's going to be kicking back in. That's going to bring in the cloud cover. And then we're going to see some rather windy days in advance of that next storm. You see that front coming down? That one's going to be here probably on Saturday. Right now you see it's got a very little moisture here, but as it gets closer to our area, you see a couple thunder showers, very similar actually to what happened last weekend. And we'll watch and wait to see if that holds together all the way through our region. Right now there's a possibility of light showers ahead, but when the front comes through, that's when it gets interesting around here. Very important for mariners or fishermen or boaters. I guess you're at work today, you're not fishing. The southeast winds will be fairly gusty, 25, 35 miles an hour tomorrow and the next day. So quite breezy and something to deal with for the next couple of days. So we take a look at your extended outlook, and here's what the week looks like. Getting warmer into the mid-upper 80s. You'll feel the humidity for sure. We'll have morning clouds. And why did I put this? Well, there's just enough moisture building up and just enough instability that we may pop one or two little afternoon showers. They're not going to grow very big, but we may pop one of them, but it's a 20% chance. Then the next front comes in Friday night, giving us a cool looking weekend. So that's going to be good as well. That's your 7-day forecast. Want to remind everybody, we've got a QR code. Want you to scan that, put that on your phone, and take us wherever you want to go, because we want to go too. Right, James?
That's right. Mac, thank you so much. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks, plus the nation's largest bridal chain filing for bankruptcy.
Are you ready to stop letting big business take your customers away? Phase 3 Digital is your #1 digital marketing resource to keep your customers shopping with you. With an office right here in the Crossroads and a team of support across the nation, we can help you wherever your business is in the online journey. From building a site to developing e-commerce capabilities to growing your customer base, we will drive results. It is time to take the next step in growing your business with Phase 3 Digital. Are you ready to take your customers back? Give us a call or visit us online to get started.
Join us at First United Methodist Church Sunday mornings at 8:30 on KAVU TV. But if you're looking for a place to worship in person, we'd love to have you join us here at 8:30 and 10:40 in our sanctuary, or at 11 o'clock with Pastor Amanda in our Ignite Contemporary service. As society gets more and more back to normal, we hope that you'll join us for worship. We were made to worship in community. We pray together, sing together, share in Holy Communion together. Won't you come be the church with us at First United Methodist Church?
No one makes catering easier than Ventura's Tamales. Need a quick pickup for a lunch meeting? Ventura's Tamales. Need a full-service buffet for a business luncheon? Ventura's Tamales. Need an anxiety-free wedding reception? Ventura's Tamales. Get it? When you think catering, think Ventura's Tamales. Let us do the cooking. Learn more at venturastamales.com. Ventura's Tamales. Unwrap the flavor.
The Dow gaining 100 points, the S&P adding 14 points, and the Nasdaq up 35 points. Oil down $1.69, closing at $80.83 a barrel. Today, David's Bridal filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Last week, the company announced it was laying off 9,000 of its roughly 10,000 workers. It blames changing tastes in weddings, where casual ceremonies are becoming popular and some women are opting for thrift store dresses. Also, marriage rates are on the decline. That started in the 80s. David's Bridal is recovering from COVID-era lows, but they still haven't bounced back to pre-pandemic levels. David's Bridal plans to keep its 300 stores open for now while it looks for a buyer. Gas prices on the rise again. AAA reports the national average for a gallon of regular is at $3.67. Gas Buddy also noted increases in 45 states. The experts from both organizations point to oil prices after OPEC Plus announced production cuts. AAA notes increasing demand could be a factor, although higher prices might be subduing that. Gas Buddy predicts northeastern states will see a 15 to 40 cent jump when the region switches to a summer blend this week. We'll take one last look at your forecast with MAC. Plus, firefighters helped a team of college baseball players after their bus caught fire.
If I have a plumbing problem, I hire a plumber.
If I have electrical issues, I call an electrician.
If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, you may need to call a lawyer.
When you call Cole, Easley, and Skiba, we will answer your questions.
If you hire us, we'll work hard to get your case settled.
If needed, we can file a lawsuit and take your case to trial.
Give us a call. We've been doing this for a while.
Tired of your typical clock in, clock out job? You need a rewarding career in an entertaining environment that you'll enjoy. Take yourself out of the box and come to the Victoria Television Group. We have an active, fun, creative atmosphere that can help you succeed and keep those everyday work blues away. Come join our energetic and outgoing sales team. Renew your career and learn to use skills you didn't know you had. Call us 361-575-2500 or email opportunity@victoriatelevision.com for more information.
You two want to know the sex of the baby?
Yes.
No, don't look.
The Good Doctor is Monday's feel-good hit.
I have missed your friendship.
I've missed you too, Sean.
We need help in here. We'll work as a team and figure it out.
Your surgery saved both their lives.
Thank you, Dr. Glassman. My job is to mentor and teach you how to be a good doctor.
The Good Doctor, new tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Reparations for Black Americans
whose ancestors were enslaved in the United States.
What is the range to pay?
There's trillions if we want to talk money.
$14 trillion.
To find out who would qualify would almost put us into a dystopia of classes against each other.
We cannot ignore the reality of systemic racism and how it's affected the Black community.
The big crisis facing America is not racial.
All new Dr. Phil.
We want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV, and on your cell phone, search Crossroads Today Plus. A college baseball team from Boston had to take a detour in Maryland Sunday after their bus caught fire. They were on their way home from a tournament when the fire broke out. They all got out okay. Instead of having to wait for hours until a new bus arrived, a volunteer fire company invited the team back to the station. The team was able to get some rest there and even shoot some hoops. A few hours later, their new bus arrived and they were on the road again back to Boston. That is very nice of them to help them out, get a little rest.
You know, and usually the firehouse is the best place to get dinner.
Ah,
You know, all the firemen, they know how to cook because they're having to cook for everybody. Anyway, folks, so we're back to the warm and windy weather. We're going to start warming up into the 80s, all the way up to 86 on Friday. There's just an isolated chance of a little shower popping up, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Next front is on Friday, and by Saturday, we're back into the 70s again. That's going to be nice and cooler weather for the weekend. So, you know, hold on to your hats because tomorrow will be about 35-mile-an-hour wind out of the southeast, so you don't want to lose that. All right, that's your 7-day forecast. James, back to you.
That's why they call firefighters heroes again. Thank you for being with us. Remember, we're always on at Crossroads Today. Plus, we hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6, World News Tonight with David Muir up next.